best cast.
Network. Now things will start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares are the best part of my day. The goods from the wood.
Hot damn.
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
Pat Riley.
The reflection of perfection, the number one selection. Mr. Goodnight, man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
And today we're putting on our tutus, flopping across the stage. I don't know.
It doesn't have to be like that.
Does it have to be
No,
ballet?
let me say this. We're talking about dance, you understand?
And joining us,
Solange Castro.
Yeah.
hey,
From the Castro, if you will. The female body in motion is such a beautiful thing that it's not even funny.
Is it female dance or just dance in general?
Well, dance in general is good, and I'm very into the concept of being male like your ancient Greeks. But I'm just saying the female body, when it's moving, just has such a aesthetic perfectness about it, and it's beautiful.
Which I don't
The males
think
do too. I think if any bodies that dance a lot usually look pretty awesome.
Yeah, but the thing is, the males is I think they're just too. I don't know if staccato is the right word, but they're just too angular or something.
herky-jerky.
Herky-jerky. And there's some helter-skelter, if you will, harem-scarum, if you will. And there's some angular about the male body, which I think the female body being more rounded lends itself to dance.
Yeah, but
very well.
have you seen ballerinas' bodies? They don't always look
They need to
that
be
good.
bigger up top, and I don't mean to offend you in
Yeah.
that respect, honey.
But
They need to be big up top.
You've never
They look
seen me
unhealthy.
dance.
I haven't seen any of you guys dance.
I might just do it now, but they
We might
can't
just
hear
need
that.
to start.
They
we
can't
might
hear
need
that
some
on the
music.
radio.
That's true. I was on Jackie Cation's Dork Forest talking about salsa dancing, and so I did actually dance on her podcast too. Nobody
On
could really
Jackie
hear it.
Chan
Yeah.
podcast.
Jackie Cation. Mr.
Jackie Chan
Goodnight,
podcast.
you're sobering up now.
Everybody's got a podcast. Good enough.
What would the Jackie Chan podcast be?
Karate or Gang Fu, to be more exact, or something.
Okay, so you're a salsa dancer, but have you always been into dance?
No, I wasn't actually. I wish I had been. Now, if I could go back in time, that's all I would do, starting when I was 2 years old. But my parents weren't that into it, and so I didn't. No, I got into it after I started dancing salsa, and then it was like I felt like I really wanted to learn dance. I did ballet. Mr. Goodnight's taking a nap now.
No, I'm just fantasizing about ballet. You know, there's some good-looking women. You mentioned the
You should pull
Degas
up some
prince.
ballerinas. Yeah, there are some really beautiful.
I always want to get with one of the ballerinas. It's one of my bucket list things or something. But I think some of them, let's be honest, are kind of bitchy. Because they live in this matriarchal world. It's like some kind of female Sparta where they just crack the whip from the time they're 16 or something. Have you ever seen Angelina Ballerina, honey?
Is that a movie?
It's a cartoon with a ballet dancing rat.
Is it on PBS Kids?
It's on PBS Kids, exactly. And you figure she's going to have an eating disorder by the time she gets older because of that high cheese diet that she is. So,
Wait, is she a mouse?
yeah, she's a mouse.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. She lives in Chippen Cheddar, England, and goes to the Camembert
I love how
Academy.
we started with
of the
dance and
Promenades.
it went to a cartoon really fast.
That's a hazard you have.
Everything
when Mr.
connects
Goodnight's
to a
around.
cartoon or some piece of pop culture. That's awesome.
When did you-
I
everything
have
connects
not
to you,
seen that
Solange.
cartoon.
Welcome to the show.
No, honestly, he has
How much wild turkey was consumed before this podcast?
the real disadvantage to this podcast is that it is only the voice, and so they cannot see the vision that is Solange right now. Because Solange is just a whole lot of woman, you understand? Way too much woman for anybody to handle at this point. And
stand-up comedy.
and poetry and motion. Why do you need comedy when you can dance or something? You can be like, look, I can make art with my body.
I would dance. I mean, that would be my number one thing. Would be to dance.
How did you get into salsa?
I'm actually half Latina.
Uh-huh.
And so I grew up listening to like Latin music and salsa. And then, I don't know, I always wanted to dance salsa. And then when I got into it, I became obsessed with salsa. For about 5 years, I danced salsa like 3 to 5 nights a week. That was all I did. It was like kind of like how you do stand-up comedy now, or how I do it now. I was just like obsessed with salsa.
Was there something about salsa in particular, like
it's the
versus
music.
Tango or rumba?
It's
or
the
something
music.
Like
I think it's the. I don't know. It's the beat. It's very lively. It's very high energy. It's a very young community. Tango's a little bit older and sophisticated and cool.
Sexy.
And, tango's very sexy.
Despite
And
the
swing
fact
is a
nobody
little
ball does
goofy. It's like Guys and Dolls. But I
Well,
wasn't.
swing's very like mid '90s.
Swing is like for these crummy, scholar-listened chicks. It's like the equivalent when your wife makes you go ballroom dancing. That's all it is for that shit.
It's very innocent. It's salsa does have a sleazy side to it.
I like that.
And you would probably. I think if you're a guy and you can dance salsa, you would be out there doing it. I mean, you would not be here. You'd not be in stand-up comedy. 'Cause
You gotta
it's like
teach me on
women
it.
love guys who can lead them.
Is it so?
Learned a lot.
The
I've learned a lot, so you're going to have to teach me some. You're not going to bother to see me at these shows again, because I'm going to be out there salsaing, you understand? And not that runny shit that you get at the restaurant. And all that shit.
good night. I'd love to see you in a pair of black pants and like.
I was with
white
like
flowy
I was going to say
shirt.
you were wearing like almost a matador costume
Oh,
at
it was
the Halloween
Charo.
show.
Oh my God, and the women love me with
Yeah,
that shit.
dude, you had the puffy shirt.
I think I'm Mexican on the inside sometimes.
I have
'cause
I
of
could
this.
see
I have
that.
no doubt.
half Latin women love me. I don't mean
there's
stereotype
something-
this
There's
Solange.
something Mexican or Latin about you.
I agree.
Are you
It's-
sure you're not? There's
No, I
not
wish I
some
was, because then
dormant
I'd be
gene?
closer to my spiritual ancestor, who was Vicente Fernandez, who is one of the great
Oh,
inspirations in this Good Night's
Is
Life.
he really a great
Yeah.
inspiration? Oh my
Oh
god!
my God.
Eres regalo de Dios, lindo regalo de Dios.
My mom, and my grandmother loved him.
Con dinero y sin dinero.
It's very passionate.
Oh, it is.
See, Latin culture is very like not afraid to express emotion, and especially for men. So in that way, it's like totally opposite.
That's
But it's
why. That's why
macho at the
Morrissey's
same time.
popular amongst.
Well, no, this is what I love about it. It's macho at the same time,
Yes.
though. It's like Achilles in the Iliad. He cries all the freaking time in that thing, but he's also masculine at the same time.
Yeah, it's not for some reason emotions feminized in American culture.
Yeah, it's that
And-
Anglo-Protestant
And
shit.
Americans don't white guys don't dance in our culture at all. It's actually pretty much every other culture men
Yeah.
dance, and it's considered masculine.
I agree, and that's why I have a severe hatred of hard rock and heavy metal, because I blame that on making me a non-dancer when I was in my impressionable youth. As I could have been
Sorry.
getting laid by salsa dancing and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Or
White people stink.
or swing or Lindy Hop or I don't know. Americans did used to dance guys did dance in the 30s and 40s. Somehow
Yeah, and
that
then
stopped.
that metal crap came
Something
out and they just
happened.
shook their heads and did
Well,
like
I mean,
devil horns.
you know,
in
the
their hands.
'70s, the late '70s, when disco became big, where obviously disco had that Latin influence with it. You know, the
Yeah.
Latin influence, and then the things coming out the gay clubs in New York and stuff like that. But at the time in which disco got huge, dancing was the thing to do. And I don't think that there has been, outside of the various kind of hip hop dances that have emerged, break dancing and all the other things, there hasn't been like
The Macarena.
the Macarena will obviously impress everybody
That was just folding
at the
your arms and shit.
1996 Republican convention.
The thing about salsa is that it's huge all around the world. Asians love salsa. It's really
They eat it with,
international.
like, sushi or
it's
something?
just well, salsa means mixture. That's what it means. So
No
the
shit.
music is actually a mixture of big band and the mambo beat and a bunch of stuff. And that's what salsa that you eat, the salsa with tomatoes.
Yeah, it's like
and,
tomato relish.
and onions, and
Yeah.
you just throw whatever you want in it.
So Rivers, are you much of a dancer?
I'm not, but I had a job where I worked at a community arts center, and I answered phones. And basically they had this big performance space, and it was directly behind the office. So I could hear what was going on at all times. And further down the hallway, they had classrooms. They would do like art classes and ESL stuff like that. It was kind of like it was a multi-purpose kind of community center. But they had this big open room where they would have dance classes. And my favorite thing in the whole world to listen to is the guy who would conduct the square dancing thing, where he would play the weirdest shit. He would play 1,000 Miles from Nowhere by Dwight Yoakam. That was big, which solid choice.
Great song, yeah.
Love it. Then he would play this weird version of Billie Jean with no words, but he would call square dances over it. So it was weird, and he would just be like, now swing that gypsy woman round this way, and it was now you put your left foot out, and I swear to God, he said like
that sounds really fun.
It was probably
He's
good
like-
for beginners
at
because
one
it's
point,
slower.
I mean, it was obviously much faster than that. I'm trying to remember. I wrote down at one point exactly what he said, and it was something to the effect of, now swing that gypsy woman around and around while I try to get over you, or something like that. It was
Like
like
Twister.
because he's kind of like sing, like square dancing is like you kind of sing it too. It's like it's basically a mixture between like an auctioneer and a country singer. You're kind of just calling things out and singing. So that was I had to listen to that, but my favorite thing was, and this was like your Jim and Pam's, your Will They Won't They, your Rachel and Ross. Mm-hmm. The real life Rachel and Ross in my life that I watched play out was, for whatever reason, on Saturday mornings, I would have to come into this job at 8 o'clock so that this guy, I'm going to call him Dr. Johnson.
Okay.
Dr. Johnson would come in and conduct his dance class. It was just Dr. Johnson and this one other lady. That was it. That was the whole class. And I would have to come in and was paid money to come in, sit, and just hang out on the computer while they conducted this weird dance class. And I'm just like, just do it. Just go do this anywhere else. Just go fuck.
Well, that's what dancing is. It's supposed to be like the courtship without the consummation never happens.
Well, and that's great.
So
but
I'm better at the constipation than at the courtship, I have to say.
But I had to come in at 8 o'clock for Dr. Johnson's weird dance class with just one other person. I'm like, just ask her out, dude. Just ask her out. There's no reason to have this huge artifice where I come in.
Did any of you have to do like square dancing or any sort of dance in gym class when you were in like elementary school or middle school?
Electric slide, baby.
Oh, so you had to do I had to do legitimate square dancing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I did
Yeah.
square dancing. I did Mexican folk dancing because I was in a bilingual class. So
Did you go to school in California or?
Berkeley, they had. I just realized the other day this doesn't happen anymore. But they had bilingual classes for Latino kids, and some white kids would be in it too. But the class was taught half in Spanish, half in English. So we did Mexican folk dancing.
Rivers, did you have to do that? Because
I did, like I said, I did the electric slide.
but you didn't have to do square.
didn't have
You
to do
lived in
square.
Alabama and you didn't have to do square dancing.
Somehow got out
Do you
of
have
square
line
dancing.
dancing? That's what white guys do. Dance line.
No,
dancing,
they have there was. I actually had to
which
figure
is
out
really hard.
See, I had to figure out the difference because this community arts center where I worked had square dancing and line dancing, and then also all the like religious children would have their swing class on Fridays. It was That was
See, it's asexual.
Huh?
The swing, it's asexual. Despite the fact you've been throwing the girls over your head and you see their
And
draws
outside
and
of the fact that you're listening to a band called the Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
yeah, but that shit was for
Or those-
girls,
Or,
and not in a good way.
Brian Setzer Orchestra. Gets
Well, he was cool.
Get some-
Brian Sess was cool.
Well, that wasn't Squirrel Nut Zippers. That was
Cherry Pop and Daddies.
Cherry Poppin' Daddies. Yeah.
Yeah, we just said that.
Well, no, I thought the song was Cherry Poppin'.
They were in the
No,
afterlife.
Cherry Pop and Daddies. Their song was
In the
Zoot Suit
afterlife.
Riot.
Suit Ryan.
Hold on,
Yeah.
but see, they was Zoot Rat, despite none of them being Mexicans or from California.
Right.
And who was the other one was in the afterlife.
What?
Who?
One of them was in the afterlife, wasn't it?
Oh, that's
They had a
Squirrel
song
Nut
in
Zippers.
That was Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
also
yeah.
named for candy. And them, despite them not being dead, they could somehow pontificate on the afterlife, which Dante did, but with much more gravitas. Yeah, fuck Squirrel Nut Zippers.
Oh God.
No, the Squirrel Nut Zippers. I think out of those kind of swing revival,
Mighty Boss Tones.
Well,
Oh,
I wouldn't
yeah,
say
no.
okay.
They're
so-
ska. I mean,
Well,
we're drawing a
They
fine
were
line
okay
here.
because they were OG, but still.
Well, the thing was that I remember that being big, and there was a swing club that came about when I was in school because there was that ska that swing revival.
Yeah.
So it was like the Cherry Poppin' Daddies and the Squirrel Nut Zippers, and all the bands had horrible names.
Yep.
Brian Setzer Orchestra.
He was the only good one. He was the only good one.
I wouldn't say that.
Well, because he was doing it before it was, and I'm going to use this parentheses, cool. Because it was never cool. It was never cool.
But it was like one of those things where when that came, it's almost like one of those sort of anomalies where nowadays I couldn't imagine something that removed from our time becoming popular. Like
It was
I couldn't
pre-television.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine like the mashed potatoes or the twist becoming something big now. Everything is very progressive, like different.
I remember when
No.
you remember it was late period. Who was that boy, Lou Bega or whatever?
Mambo number 5.
Yeah, and I was like, this sounds like the background music in a Heckle and Jekyll cartoon, for fuck's sake.
Well, you know my favorite part of Mambo number 5 is where he goes, I want to hear the trumpet.
The trumpet.
The trumpet.
I have a friend of mine that's obsessed with Lou Bega.
I want to hear Gabriel's trumpet
And
so the world ends and I'm going to listen to his shit.
He,
how long.
and his dream is that he wants Lou Bega to perform at his wedding.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Like he wants to have a suit like Lou Bega,
Get
and then
get the Panama hat.
he wants Lou Bega to show up at his wedding to perform Mambo number 5 and Mambo number 5 the remix and Mambo number 5 the extended remix.
That other one that sounded just like it. That
and the
was in
ice
Stuart
cream
Little.
song. I think that's the ice cream song. But
For enough money, I'm sure it could happen.
probably not that
I
much
was gonna
money.
say probably $9 and a bus ticket.
Klondike bar or some shit.
Mambo number 5.
When I'd get drunk, like in college and stuff like that, I would go to parties and just be like Mr. Dancer.
Mr.
I would
Fist
be,
Bump?
yeah,
You
no,
didn't-
not fist pump. I would just Tony Manero. Like I would just take over a dance floor and just dance.
Freestyle,
Yeah, it
white
was,
guy style.
Yeah, no, I wasn't like that kind of like because there's the white guy dance where there's either the fist pump, which is the white guy dance,
Yeah.
or like this, like the double fist pump with the hip
White
shake,
man's overbite.
or kind of the ironic, like doing the Cabbage Patch or something like that.
Yeah.
It was almost like a weird sort of thing where dancing came out whenever I was inebriated,
Right.
in college. But
Usually
I
that's
never.
how it goes.
Yeah, I never like. I'm too self-conscious to dance,
Yeah.
and it's weird because
Which is why alcohol is good for dancing.
Yeah, my mom ran a disco, and
What?
she ran a disco back in the 70s.
What was it called?
Oh, we never
Uh,
told
the
this.
Yeah.
the Brick House?
Perfect.
Yeah, it was there was a ski lodge, and she ran the disco.
Was this in
Did
Florida?
you live in the
No,
mountains?
this was in New
Georgia?
Hampshire.
Oh, New Hampshire. Okay,
Yeah.
that's why you got some kind of weird New Hampshire connection.
Yeah, so she ran a disco, and she would book the bands for the disco. So she was like the manager of it, and she would book the bands for it. So she would go to these conventions and pick up all the like disco bands. I think she had Heatwave perform at one of
All
the
right.
guys that did Boogie Nights perform,
yeah.
and all the guys that kind of looked like the guys that did Boogie Nights. And she knew all the moves. And when I was a kid, she would teach me all of the moves. We'd watch kind of reruns of American Bandstand that would play on VH1. And she would try and teach me the moves, and I couldn't grasp it. And it was, whenever I go to dances in middle school and high school and stuff like that, I could. Of course, you couldn't whip out, the Latin shuffle at a middle school dance in the 90s. That couldn't be done. But, it was that sort of thing when I went to college and I'd go to parties and that magical elixir came into the mix, when I could actually, get completely smashed. That was the moment where I was like, oh, my mom's
it.
wisdom
It happens.
has overtaken me and I can.
It
just-
happens. The alcohol will turn it on.
Yeah, I could break dance when I was drunk. It was really weird, like spin on my head and stuff. I didn't.
Did
know.
you have like a crushed cardboard box to do it on? Or something?
I didn't.
Should this be where we bring up breaking?
Breaking, and you just don't stop. Here comes the movie that's fresh and hot, with high energy, dancing to the beat with a scratch mix sound that comes from the street. This movie is unique.
You've got the talent. She ain't no street dancer.
So go and tell your peers, the movie you long for is finally here, with action, style, and beautiful girls. People don't procrastinate, see the show, don't hesitate.
I was at the opening premiere of a break. Not
Was
the premiere,
Lucinda
the
Dickey
opening
there?
night. No, I was on not the premiere. The opening night, front row. It
Wow.
was sold out.
Was Lucinda Dickey there?
Oh, I would have loved that.
Oh my
And
God,
the-
was she beautiful?
The guy that I liked, who was crazy, was wearing his Michael Jackson jacket, sitting in
The red
behind
one?
the red one.
Oh man.
Did you meet Ozone?
Oh no, I didn't. It was I was
Turbo.
in Berkeley. But it was a big deal when Breakin' came out. I mean, it was like we were talking about it for weeks beforehand, and then it happened. And then there's Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo, and
That one had Lucinda Dickey too, didn't it?
Yeah.
Lucinda
It had
Dickey is the best
Ozone
part of
and-
movies, man, because she was so goddamn beautiful.
she
It was
didn't do
ridiculous.
anything. Did she do anything?
Did she have
else?
to?
Nope.
She'd been in Breakin' and Breakin' 2, and she was in American Ninja 3, I think it was.
Yeah, one of the Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, I mean,
I love dance movies. That's my favorite genre of movie.
Xanadu?
What's your favorite dance movie?
Well, probably Grease. I know it's a really boring answer,
it's
but
great.
they have that choreography was amazing. But dance movies don't have to be good in any other way. They don't have to have a script, really. Or seriously, the actors are often not very. I mean, if you have a good actor who's also a good dancer, that is amazing. Like John Travolta was amazing.
once upon a
They
time,
usually
they were-
operate under the false premise that dancing can be an acceptable substitute for violence in the streets.
Well, you know, once
yeah,
upon a
but
time, they
that's
were
what
big,
it should be. Yeah, you have your
staple of
crews.
Hollywood.
Oh yeah, no,
Yes.
Like in the
Right.
in the Depression and all that shit, those big dance production movies were huge.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
got
you
Fred
got your Fred
Astaire
Astaire,
and things
yeah.
like that. It was a huge part of Hollywood in them days.
Well, now they have the Step Up movies, and
You Got Served.
You got served.
I loved You Got Served.
Really?
I love that
Yeah.
too with Mr. Humphries and
the
Kevin
script
Peacock
is
and all
so
that shit.
bad.
I saw You Got Served in Italy, and in Italian, You Got Served. The title of it, if you translate it literally from Italian to English, is Street Dance Fighters, which makes it seem like a much more awesome movie.
That's a much better title than You Got Served. Yeah, that was amazing. I don't know. I think dance movies can get away with so much because the dance sequence, if they're done right, are so exciting.
What ruined dance? Because dance was like a central sort
White
of thing
people.
for everybody. Like it was kind of a universal thing. and then
English
it's become-
white people who made music into this let's be loud and antisocial and nod our heads and listen to
Yeah.
songs about Vikings.
Where did that
and
come
shit.
from? I'm very
Led Zeppelin.
That
That's who I
kind of
blame.
like very isolated experience of music where you're just like you're not connecting to anybody. You're just with the. I don't know.
I think that's like one of those album rock things, like back in the day when, you know, like I think the Beatles, when they kind of went like Rubber Soul and Magical
Well,
Mystery
Sgt.
Tour
Pepper
and stuff like
and
that,
stuff, yeah.
you couldn't dance to that. Like you could dance to early Beatles songs, and I think that sort of movement of not just them but all those other bands that
They
were
even
kind of
told
saw.
you how to dance to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Twist and shout.
Exactly.
Well, that was a cover. But yeah, you have like
true.
those moody blues. How the fuck are you supposed to dance to Tuesday Afternoon, Forever Afternoon, and that?
or Nights of White Satin.
Yeah.
You couldn't-
Well,
but I think it was
wider
like,
shade of pale. you
yeah,
know.
exactly.
I can slow dance to
Procol
that
Harum,
one.
if you will.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Although they
it
tripped the
was-
Life Fandango on that one and did cartwheels across the floor.
I think it's weird that when music became quote unquote serious, like rock and roll became quote unquote serious, it distanced itself from dance. Like dance was the thing that made it kind of vulgar or not artistic. But it's interesting that that was the way in which they took it away because it was not something you could dance to. Like you couldn't dance to.
it's like classical music.
Yeah, exactly. Unless it's like, you know,
A waltz.
Tchaikovsky or a waltz.
Except
or
that at least that
something
has
like
a highbrow pretension to it, you know. And to this day, I got to admit, like, I have a deep, abiding despise for like hard rock and heavy metal because of it. When people think that like all this metal music is cool, I'm like, how is that cool? This is the music that doesn't get you laid in high school because you can't dance to it. So go Motley Crue, all this shit can go fuck itself, seriously. Because the cool shit is shit like Prince that you can dance to. And it
Hear,
sounds
hear.
cool. You know what I'm
The
saying?
Time. when I was
the
growing
Time
up,
is
Morris Day and the
amazing.
Time. Oh my god, I love.
Wait, our neighbor Luke is here. He has a weird connection to Prince and the Time.
Oh yeah, please.
Oh, my God.
We've made reference to this
Speak.
before. I'd love to hear this from neighbor Luke.
Well, hello, everybody. Yes, I do have a connection to Prince in that my mom was actually an extra in Prince's movie Purple Rain.
What?
Yep. Little addendum to that is that my brother was born 1 year later. So, draw whatever
Does he
conclusions
look
you
like
wish.
Prince?
Oh, you know, a little bit more than me.
How's the family?
What scene? Yeah, what scene was she in? Very important.
Like right at the end where there's like that huge.
Oh, okay. He does that
I
number.
haven't actually seen the whole movie.
He
I've
does
just
the
seen,
big
like,
number at the end.
Yeah,
Purple
He
Rain.
does Purple Rain,
Purple Rain.
and he wipes that tear off his eye before he goes into the solo, and he kisses Wendy, I think it is. And she's like, "Don't kiss me, Prince. That's gross." And I love that.
I love that. I've
yeah,
seen
it's
that
just
movie
as
like
as
1,000
they're
times.
like panning across the crowd, you can just like see her face like bobbing up and down like in the middle of the screen.
One of them new wave club members, probably.
Yeah.
One time, Luke, when you came by the house for football, you mentioned that your mother was a ballet dancer or a dancer of some variety. Is that true?
That is true. Yeah, she was originally hired onto that movie to like do the ballet number, but which got cut from the movie, so she ended up just being like an extra that got paid more. But yeah, she ran like a dance school for a couple decades.
So, are you a dancer?
I got kicked out of her creative movement class. Wow. When I was 5.
Well, you can't say she plays favorites. I'll say that.
I think I kicked a hula hoop and then she never had me back.
Purple Rain is a hell of a movie. Really is. Art is what I call it. Art.
That's right.
So
Prince is amazing.
he's
Prince is
he's
shit.
amazing.
He
Touched
is
by
sex.
God.
He is
He is
music.
sex. He is.
What's your favorite Prince song?
Well, when I was in 7th grade, The Beautiful Ones was the one we'd have like our favorite slow dance with our favorite guy. We would have slow dance parties. The whole party was about slow dancing.
So it was all like just the high spot of any like middle school dance. Just the whole party was that.
Well, it wasn't advertised that way, but that's what it became later on. We were like, we had a slow dance party. But
Slow dancing is-
we would play the Purple Rain album just endlessly over and over again.
So
that was
good.
the entire.
Am I the only one who likes the studio side better than the live side on the second side?
I do like the studio side better. There's some sort of there is a level of magic to the live side. Like,
But as much as I love Purple Rain, the
Baby, I'm
fade
a
out goes
Star.
on too long.
Yeah.
the Baby I'm a Star
it's
and,
really
and,
long,
and
yeah.
Yeah.
Purple Rain are fantastic. But I really love Computer Blue and Darling Nicking.
You know, Computer
together.
Blue is going to be even longer. It was going to be like a whole suite, and they cut it down so it could fit on the album side.
Yeah, I actually like the studio version. They're two distinct entities. It's one of those things where I like all the songs on the live side better, like as a unit, but the individual songs on the studio side I really like a lot more. Like Computer Blue is fantastic. It's absolutely it's perfect.
Wendy, yes, Lisa. Is a water woman.
Yes,
Yes,
Lisa.
Lisa. Shall we begin?
Yes, Lisa.
Did you see Prince at the Forum?
Yeah, I saw him 3 times.
I saw him once, but
What times were you there? Maybe we was there on the same night.
it
Who
was
knows?
towards the end. I don't remember.
I was
what
at one of
day.
the ones at the end. That was when we got into for free. And I was at another one
I had
because
to pay
some boy hit my
$50.
car the night before and was happy enough that I didn't exchange papers that he gave me money. So we went and we got Prince tickets with it. So I ended up there 3 times.
But each one was totally different.
Yeah, it was. That's what I loved about it. Every night was like a different night. It was it was like a church of Prince every
Right.
night. Yeah.
Right. That's how I felt when I was there.
Yeah,
I
it
felt
really
like
was.
he was like a priest.
Yeah, when he did, I remember he did Mountains from the Parade soundtrack, and it was almost like this kind of like purple spiritual experience.
I didn't know anybody that would want to go to Prince with me, and that's how sad it is.
This is
Like,
before I moved to Los Angeles.
I
everybody.
would.
Your
that's the
girl,
thing.
your
I would've been
Well, I was
fiance didn't
dating
want to.
Jen
Oh,
at
okay.
the time. I didn't know anybody that wanted to go see Prince with me, and it's weird because I know people that don't like Prince, and I think it's something
What?
based. I don't know. I think it's one of those weird things where they do it out of principle, where they're just sort of like, oh, this is pop music from the 1980s, or this is pop music.
Or are they
something like that.
metalheads that don't get laid, or some shit
or
like
people that are into
Yeah,
know,
that's like saying, I
indie
don't like
rock
sex.
or something like
Yeah.
that, where they don't
Fuck
enjoy things.
indie rock. Seriously, man.
Yeah.
If you got a beard but not balls, you're not a total man. Let me tell you that. The Greeks would agree with me on that one.
But the slow dancing thing is interesting. I mean,
Yeah, do kids slow dance anymore?
You know what? That's a question I had recently, and I think I have $1 million idea, and I'm going to give it away for free on this podcast right now. Okay,
$1 million.
$1 million. And it only in Los Angeles. It could only be a town this stupid to support something like this, but it would totally work. It would be because we were talking about this very thing just outside of an open mic one night, and I was like, "Do kids still slow dance?" Because it seems to me every song that comes out now is just boom, boom, boom.
Right.
boom,
What
boom,
would they
boom.
slow dance
Like,
to?
what the fuck would you slow dance to? And like, then I talked to some people, and they're like, "Well, there's stuff like Frank Ocean has some kind of slow jam kind of songs."
You're related to Billy Ocean?
Huh?
I wish. That's what I hoped because I
Frank
love
Ocean's
Billy
great.
Ocean.
You know,
Billy Ocean's amazing.
I'm in Camp Billy and I'm in Camp Frank too. I think they're both great. Channel Orange is fucking outstanding.
As much as I'm Frank is great, but I'm definitely I'm Team Billy.
Yeah, well,
I am Team Billy
you're
Ocean.
Team Bayou Belly. The Adventures of Bayou Billy. The Adventures of Bayou Billy. But
Billy ain't from no bayou. He's from Trinidad, all right? And there's no bayous in Trinidad.
but yeah, so I was talking, and like, you know, I talked to somebody who's more familiar with contemporary music than I am. They're like, yeah, you know, there's this thing and this thing, and they kind of were rattling off. I'm like, okay, maybe there are slow jams, but what I was thinking would be great. Here's your idea, right? It's a bar, and the name of the bar is Prom. Your bouncers are dressed like teacher chaperones. It would be great. They're wearing like little ties.
Hagar slacks.
They're wearing Hagar
and
slacks. They're wearing ties,
shorts.
short sleeve shirts. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they have the glasses and like a whistle, you know, and that like you can break up if, you know, things get too frisky, right? So you got those guys with the bouncers, and then your bartender, your bartender's got to be like a coach or like some kind of other, like a principal, you know.
Doling out quote unquote soda.
No. That's the thing. No, there's no.
No alcohol.
No, there's alcohol, but it's only different flavors of punch.
Okay,
that's the whole bar.
That
it's like
sounds kind of puke-inducing. It doesn't
yeah, isn't it great? And there's
much
everybody,
like Prom.
The real prom experience.
Right. 'Cause here's what I'm thinking is like,
what do they play like a whole new world and shit like that?
Yeah,
from the
that's what I'm
Aladdin
thinking is
soundtrack?
that every night is a different decade. Do you see what I'm saying? So you can attract every crowd. So like obviously like a Friday, Saturday night is when you want your young people in there. That's when you're going to make your money. That's when you're going to play your current stuff, right? Your Monday, Tuesday night, you go with like a 70s theme prom where, you know, the slow dance is Stairway to Heaven, you know what I mean? Or you go with like the 80s prom where it's, you know, Prince, or take your, you know, whoever, 90s prom, and then you just build towards the weekend.
I think 80s prom would probably be the most profitable.
Yeah.
Well, you try 'em all.
80s won the
maybe,
decade. 80s was the decade when like concepts like the prom dress aligned most with what was actually fashionable.
Yeah.
Like layered dresses like that, like Miss Elizabeth used to wear and shit like that.
Dude,
Right. What do you?
okay.
So what do we? Am I on to something?
I think you're on.
I think
I
I'm
think
onto
so, but we slow danced to Stairway to Heaven, and it was the 80s. I think that's kind of a universal song.
No,
I don't-
yeah.
How do you
absolutely.
dance to that?
I wish that I could slow
It's
dance.
a 10-minute slow dance song.
Well, no.
So you have to find
Well, you
someone
could play like a
really
mountain jam or something. You can get like a 20-minute
Well,
jam.
no.
out of that
Well,
one.
the beauty of Stairway to Heaven is that
That's
it's a slow dance song that turns into a fast dance song. Because so
How do you
Yeah,
dance
that is a little awkward towards the end. You can keep slow dancing. Just let the
Yeah.
music
You just
play.
kind of look more confused. While
I
you're
like
doing it.
slow dancing
which goes
because
in
it's
line
easy
with
and
the
it takes no
teenage
talent.
thing, yeah.
Well, the
It's
thing
easy to slow
about
dance.
a thing about like salsa, it's not just salsa. They dance this thing called bachata. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Like
It's
pachanga?
it's real. No, pachanga is actually a dance. No, pachanga is a real thing. It's a dance.
There was a
move.
show. It was on a Spanish channel,
Yeah.
Pachanga Latina.
Pachanga is a type of music and dance, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, it's totally real. I know it's not a joke, but bachata is a Dominican dance that's really popular right now, and it is super like sexual kind of. Slow
Oh, I
dance.
got to learn this dance. You're gonna have shot.
It's so funny because it's. I mean, if you're talking to the Latin community,
Yeah.
it's huge. But like white people are like, what?
Well, that's because seriously, that's.
Excuse me, I think Mr. Goodnight can learn to dance.
Yeah, exactly.
I have faith in him.
That's because
so
white people.
it's not that
That's
funny.
because white people have no soul,
Right.
and they have
And
not
you're-
since at least the Renaissance or
And
something.
you're part Latino. There's something about
Exactly.
you that's Mexican, and all
Exactly.
you gotta do is
I'm a
get you on the
churro
dance
at
floor,
heart.
and it's gonna come out.
Yeah, no, get me
I
on the
see
dance
it.
floor because they're Mexican. Seriously,
I
Mexican
see it
women love me.
happening,
Yeah, I
and then
go
you
for
can
it.
prove these guys wrong. Be like, you laughed.
I think they just thought it was funny that I was talking about what was like learning a sexual dance or some shit. Because the thing is, I never learned how to dance because I was abused by the garbage that is known as rock and roll, which had me think that rock and roll is as much of a sexual chastity belt as shit like Marvel Comics and stuff like that. It will not get you laid. It'll have you sitting there nodding your head and listening to like
certain
teenage
rock
music.
and roll.
Well, like in the old
and
days,
the funny thing
with
is
the Rolling
that
Stones and Elvis and stuff.
Rock and roll and the outros, especially punk, created its own form of quote-unquote dance with slam dancing.
Yeah, which is all for guys.
Yeah.
It's like
I never understood it at all.
Like fucking, what was that band? The worst crime against sex. Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden.
Their whole audience is men wearing denim jackets and getting off to songs about the prisoner and shit like that. And that is not what rock and roll has been about. Black people to be about fucking and stuff like this. Not about Vikings and alienation and shit.
Although I did like Iron Maiden when Paul Di'Anno was the lead singer. Like
I don't know.
Free.
I don't know. I don't know that shit because I was too busy not listening to it, trying to get laid by listening to like better music like Lynyrd Skynyrd and stuff like that. Which would get you laid at a truck stop at least. With a lot lizard.
You could dance to some Leonard Skinner song.
You can.
Freebird
is a great slow dance.
Back to the beauty of Freebird is the same thing that's beautiful about Stairway to Heaven. It's a slow dance song that turns into a fast dance song. You know, by the end you got the. I'll tell you this about our homecoming. Then I think Pat is probably the only person in the room that might know this reference. There's a rap duo called Deuce Comrades. Ooh. Do you remember Deuce Comrades?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Deuce Comrades was based out of Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah.
They were a minor regional band, rap act in the early 2000s, and they were huge at my school, and everybody loved them. Everybody. So it became this thing where somebody at my school was either related to them or like knew them somehow and was like, we can make this happen. We can get Deuce Comrades to play at the homecoming. And if you've heard their music, it is dirty and
misogynistic
and misogynistic and whatever.
Is this crunk noise?
No, it wasn't crunk. It's a little before that. And it was, it is what it is. Anyway, so they put the money up, and they had our regular DJ Oz, who just would... Was
that Kevin Nash?
No, he would wear Jinkos with a T-shirt tucked into them, no belt.
Classy.
Yeah. Anyway, so he was our regular DJ. He would play very clean, very whatever. And but anyway, we also got Deuce Comrades. So Deuce Comrades comes, and they are fucking destroyed. They are so fucked up. And they get there, and well,
that's got to be weird for them to play a high school homecoming.
Well, they were like, "You're paying us how much?" Yeah, of course. So they show up drunk and high, and then the principal tells them like, "All right, guys, we're gonna have you up. Just make sure you got to keep it, PG-13 because we got kids around." And they're like, "Yeah, whatever." And they just go up and they're like, "Auburn motherfuckers!" And just immediately go into it. And I think they got to play 15 minutes. And I'll never forget, they cut them down. And DJ Oz was on another side of the room, and they turned him up, and he just faded into "God Must Have Spent a Little More Time on You" by NSYNC.
That's weird.
It was the weirdest.
Because they're a lot like 3-6 Mafia.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, and they were apparently whisked off stage, and the principal was gonna try to have them arrested. It was the whole thing was fucked up. You've got your choice, fast and slow. Solange Castro, what are your favorite songs to dance to? One fast, one slow.
Well, what kind of music are we talking about?
What I'm saying, this is your moment. everybody's watching. You're gonna knock it out of the fucking park if this song plays or if this song plays.
Well, if it's salsa, I would need a dance partner.
Right.
I guess ideally I would be listening. I have my favorite mambo music and my favorite dance partners.
Who do we got for mambo?
We have
I'm a Perez
Tito
Prado
Puente,
man. Tito Puente, Perez Prado, great. What about like pop music? What like, you know, we were talking about Prince earlier. Like, for instance, if I'm going to answer my own question, the answer is September by Earth, Wind and Fire. Earth, Wind, and Fire is you can't lose.
Amazing.
If you need a dance party to happen now, can't lose.
Philip Bailey, best falsetto ever.
Oh yeah,
proper non-white people, non-rock and roll. Strictly speaking, music.
The thing I like about Earth, Wind, and Fire is that they're up tempo.
Yeah,
but specifically the song September is very nostalgic. It's very contemplative, which I like about. That's kind of the unifying theme.
Or Let's Groove Tonight is the same sort of way.
Right. Like it's the unifying theme in all the dance music that I enjoy personally is that it's melancholy, but it's also fun in its sound, you know. It's that dichotomy that makes it magical is the dichotomy of the built-in sadness, but also the up-tempo grooves.
Let's see a rock and roll musician.
That's why I like soul music so much. Soul music like Sam Cooke, Wilson Pickett, Otis. You know,
fuck all you damn English. And
that's my slow dance song. You Send Me.
Holy shit.
By Sam Cooke. It's so absolutely beautiful.
Darling, you send me. I know you send me. Darling, you send me. Honest you do, honest you do, honest you do.
Improved. Did you know that?
Really?
Improvised. Wow. They had the music, they had a melody, and that was it. And he's like, play that again. And then he sang it a couple of times and they recorded it. You Send Me is completely improvised. Wow. It's nuts because it's one of the greatest songs ever.
That's so good.
That's just a genius working.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
What's your slow dance song?
What's that song from 16 Candles when she's at the dance and True.
Oh yeah,
True.
Spandau Ballet.
Yeah. The 80s is wrought with amazing ballads, man.
It was very ballady decade.
Yeah, 80s was very romantic.
Very wrought with angst. But not
Neil
wrought
Finn,
with...
dude.
Especially
Amazing.
teen angst.
Love that.
Before Nirvana took
It
it
was John
into...
Hughes. Yeah, what happened? I always wonder, what happened?
I like
Crowded House is still
Nirvana.
huge. Yeah.
In spite of being white people music, I like Nirvana in a way that I don't like metal music.
I do too.
It was like, it's sort of my generation, you understand? That's I respect Nirvana because of that.
My fast song was Organ Grinder by DJ Shadow. It's pretty ridiculous. And I remember one time I just got into the right mental state in which I danced the greatest I ever danced.
Yeah.
By myself.
It was...
What about your good night? What's the one that you can bust a move
slow
to?
dance song?
Slow dance or fast or both?
Well, I'll tell you this, man. If it's gonna be a slow dance, and I've tied a few down, like thrown a few drinks back or something, and a woman will dance to Mr. Goodnight to Marty Robbins' El Paso. I know that's not really like dance music.
No, that's fantastic.
That's how you know that you're in love with me, and I'm in love with you. That's the one thing. That'd be like the end of life, the peak of life itself. That experience. As far as taz dances, I don't really know because I ain't even though I'm sure I have incredible talent with my body, I'm not like a well-known dancer. So if I was going to dance fast, I'd probably have to smoke a joint or some shit. So what the hell would I dance too fast? I mean,
Jackie Wilson?
I don't know. You know, like maybe it would like rock you to your socks or something. Wasn't that? What was that? There was what's his name? Did Superfly? Wasn't it?
Curtis Mayfield.
Curtis
Yeah.
Mayfield.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Freddy's
Like,
Dead stuff. Get
maybe
some
what's a fast?
Superfly.
Is there a fast Prince song or something I could do?
Well,
DMSR.
DMS
DMSR is kind of mid-tempo.
No, the answer to that question, is there a Fast Prince song, is Dearly Beloved. We are
Oh, yeah,
gathered-
but you know what? That
Dude,
one's a little too rock and roll for me to dance to. You understand?
You can get a good...
If I'm going to dance rock and roll, it's going to have to be like honky tonk women or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's a little slower.
Yeah.
You understand? I mean, can you dance to Silver Train by the Rolling Stones?
You could.
Because if I could, that would be
Monkey
it.
Man would be a good one.
Oh,
Monkey
that might
Man.
be it
Oh,
right
that's a
there.
good...
That's
That's a
Just
rocker.
try on a little bit of Keith
Actually,
Richards
you know
like
what?
that, yeah.
And people say, they're like, well, it's the Stones doing disco. Who gives a shit? It's a great song. Miss You.
Oh, yeah.
I
Fantastic.
could get down to that.
Because,
Yeah.
and you know what? This is actually, I think with Miss You is I can't not do the spoken word part. And I've had people walk in on me going, hey, what's the matter, man? We gonna come around 12 with some Puerto Rican girls that's just dying
to meet you.
We gonna bring a case of wine. And we gonna mess and fool around here just like we used to. Yeah, I can't not do that. Yeah, it's the greatest song.
If I was going to dance to some girls, though, I tell you, it gets the slow songs again. I mean, if you're downright disgusted
Yep.
and life ain't worth a dime,
The girl.
the far
You know what kind of eyes she had. That's my favorite line of that song.
Well, 20 red lights in his honor. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Lord. Can I dance to Satan is Real? Because I think that's...
I think you have to be perfectly still to listen to the Louvin Brothers. As much as I love the Louvin
you
Brothers.
don't want no wordly dancing up in there, do you?
That's right. You have to remain seated in your pew.
Rivers, what's your dance jams?
Well, like I said, it's September by Earth, Wind, and Fire for the fast, and for the
Yeah.
slow, I'm inclined to go like Wilson Pickett, like you said, Sam Cooke, Jackie Wilson. I don't know, man. I'm gonna try to think of like a good slow jam.
It's harder to find the fast ones sometimes, I think, because you've got an idea what you want to do with it later when it's going slow. But when it's fast, it's not about her, it's too much about you, and that kind of defeats the purpose of dance sometimes.
Ostensibly, I think, like, if you were a break dancer, the best song is Planet Rock by Africa Bambaataa. That's if you had the ability to dance to Africa Bambaata's Planet Rock.
Yeah.
That would be the perfect dance song.
They would be so much popping and locking. That's the only because it changes tempo and shit so much. Like you would have to be like a master.
Degree of difficulty 10.
Well,
Yeah,
let's face this fact. Back in the day, there was your poppers and there was your lockers and your breakers. And then you've also got the rapper and the graffiti artist.
You
and
have
they were dragging ass in them days. And now it's all about the rapper and the graffiti artist. Where's your poppers and lockers? Because I think that personally took more talent.
Yeah, because have you seen those guys breakdancing on the promenade? And they are
in Santa
wearing the
Monica?
exact same outfit that people wore in the 80s. Yeah, and they're doing the exact same
Are
moves,
they
but they're really
reenactors or something?
No, it's just still pop. It's
Civil
still
War,
it's the genre
Well, they're
of
like
breakdancing.
The battle between the world-class wrecking crew and the Rocksteady crew. Even though world-class wrecking crew was a band.
It's a little
and not
different.
dancing
There was like
group.
more moonwalking, but there wasn't a lot of pop blocking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That took more talent, I think. That really
Yeah.
took more talent. You don't see that so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of like
That's a good-
isolating.
Oh yeah,
every
there you
part
go.
of your
Yeah,
body.
LaFreak.
All right, am I the only one that thinks Lucinda Dickey is still the best dancer in that fucking movie? If you got that kind of jazz
What is
training,
she doing now?
I don't know,
I
but she
think
doesn't have
we
to
need
do
to
anything
find
else.
out.
I mean, she's older than me, but maybe if she wants to be with a younger man,
She needs to know about this
she should
love
call
you
me
have
up.
for her.
Okay,
She's
here's my
beautiful.
theory that she has 2 kids.
Lucinda, are you out there?
And both of them go to the Crossroads school down the street, the Crossroads school. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, that's about it.
I think that's near me, man.
And she
could
lives
be
a life
MILF.
of leisure.
She could
And
be a
that's-
MILF, and I could be the gigolo or some shit like this. You know, I could go for that.
That was a tough part to pull off. I mean, she had to like be the believable white girl who is really going to turn into a breakdancer, and she did.
And
she really
was
did.
a better dancer, sorry out there, than your turbo and your ozone. Let's just be honest with this.
But not all ballet dancers are good at other dances.
No, but she had like this jazz thing
Right.
going. She could spin and all this shit. And that takes talent to do that with your body.
This is a good one.
Is that a marimba?
Yeah, it's a marimba.
See, that's proper music, because it's made by, like, grown-ups and musicians and shit. Not a bunch of little shits with fucking 20-year-old shits with phony beards and stuff that need a boot in the balls, like most of the shit is
Well, now
nowadays.
it's because the music industry made it all about being young.
Yeah.
And that's...
You know what? Fuck you out there. You know what I'm saying? If that's on.
Here, Pat.
Fuck you, Mumford & Sons. Just saying that out. Mumford should have had an abortion.
I figured out my slow jam. And it's Computer Love by Zapp and Roger.
Your face I see on my computer screen. Meet a special girl. Shoot it up, I wanna love you. Shoot it up, baby. Shoot it up, I wanna love you. Shoot it up, my computer.
That's a good slow jam.
See, I thought that when I was thinking about it, Van Morrison had both.
Oh Christ! Yeah,
one of the best fast dance songs and slow dance songs ever.
Yeah,
anything off of Astral Weeks
is
the best slow dance.
Perfect.
Slim Slow Slider,
Cypress
Avenue, Sweet Thing,
all of it.
The way Young Lovers do, even though it's a little bit more fast tempo.
The whole goddamn thing. It's perfect.
Domino.
Oh, domino. Romeo, my Romeo, there you go. Say it again.
So we can just agree that Van Morrison's the greatest ever.
Van Morrison is the greatest ever.
Prom
For the longest, I still maintain this dream that one day I'm gonna find the weird purple outfit that he's wearing in the last waltz, and I'm gonna do that for Halloween. I'm gonna get the weird purple outfit with the glitter and just do little kicks all night.
Because that's Van Morrison's dance moves. It's just kicks.
Little tiny kicks.
Little kicks.
And he's so tiny that it's really funny when he does little kicks.
He's an Irish motherfucker.
Yeah.
Is he Northern Irish or something?
Belfast,
That's
yeah.
what I thought, yeah.
He almost doesn't fit in that movie. Neil Diamond really doesn't fit in that movie, but like Van Morrison is he's great, but you're almost
Neil
like
Diamond worked with Robbie Robertson.
Yeah, Robbie put him in that fucking movie.
Richard Manuel was also kind of left out of the mix, and he was
Yeah,
like one of the most.
they made it seem like Robbie was singing the song.
Yeah,
and Richard sings most.
Richard
of the songs.
Manuel and Garth Hudson were the two most talented dudes in the band, outside of Levon Helm. Levon Helm was.
Although it is pretty sweet to see Robbie Robertson just smoke Eric Clapton's ass on guitar.
Yeah.
That's one of the best moments in film.
But then again, watching Prince smoke.
Right, and then Prince does it again in the
at
George
the Rock
Harrison.
and Roll Hall of Fame.
No, it's the George Harrison tribute.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Where they're all out there. It's like Tom Petty. It's all the traveling Wilburys. Everybody's out on stage, and Eric Clapton. They're all playing "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," and then Prince comes out and just
with his did he have the purple guitar?
No,
or
it was the yellow guitar, but it did have the crazy shit.
Yeah,
coming off the
and
side
he just all of them just looked at him like,
whoa,
oh my god!
Everybody
He's a motherfucker.
Everybody forgets that Prince can shred.
He's divine.
Yeah, we saw him now at the Forum, and when he gets in, I mean, when he plays guitar, look the fuck out.
Well, I heard that after the Forum, he would go jam someplace
the
else.
after parties. I was looking for those to try to find out if I could get into one of them or something.
He's like unstoppable. Like, he'll just keep
I
going.
think maybe he did the best fast song and the best slow dance songs.
Yeah, he did. And they were both
Purple Rain is
very
an outstanding slow dance.
sexy songs.
Yeah, I'm not shit.
Diamonds and Pearls.
He'd go
even.
into that solo, and even when he just does that note, and it's just sublime. Even to this day, he plays that same note, but it's still got the passion on, like it was 1984 all over again.
He's written a lot of songs too.
He's written a ton of good shit.
Yeah.
I mean, granted,
Yeah.
a lot
He
of the
wrote
best
Nothing
shit.
Compares to You, which is another
Yeah,
amazing
and that was
slow
on the
dance song.
family of all fucking albums, and then Sinead
And then he gave
O'Connor
it.
there.
Yeah, he gave it to and
Carol O'Connor, whatever her name was.
didn't he?
Carol O'Connor.
Carol O'Connor. All the plans that you planted,
away, Glenn Miller
in your backyard.
Songs that made you hit parade.
What was the name? Oh, was that a Christopher song?
Was that Christopher Tracy?
I think it was Christopher.
Remember
yeah.
Christopher Tracy, that gigolo on a French Riviera? I was out there with Tricky. Remember that shit? Under the Cherry Moon. See it. Live it. I try. Salsa or comedy, honey?
Well, when I was really into salsa, it was salsa
It's like asking Michelangelo fresco or sculpture. You know what I mean?
Salsa is it's like when you first start comedy and you're just great. You know, you go out like three mics a night. I mean, I never did that, but I see a lot of young comics
21
doing that.
mics a night, yeah.
Yeah.
Too many of them.
And then eventually you kind of taper off. It's like falling in love. You know, you're just obsessed with it at first, and everyone who dances salsa has the same experience. Everyone gets obsessed with it, but you never really leave. It's the same. It's like comedy. It's the same community. The same people are there. And I just have like certain dance partners I love to dance to, certain music, but I can go anywhere in the world and probably run into people I know. Because LA is a big hub, and like people go to Paris and they'll see people they know, or
I know the feeling. Maybe you dance with me sometime, Hannah.
I dance at the Promenade on Sundays around 7. So if you're ever here,
asleep then. That's kind of the problem. I haven't woke up yet. But I mean, we could put something together. We should dance sometime, honey. Maybe as a thing.
I think Neighbor Luke's rapping on that window. Neighbor Luke, what is your slow dance song and your fast dance?
Oh yeah.
Are we talking strictly Dance Dance Revolution songs? Because then I have locked and loaded. I don't want to break too much.
I know you just got
kind
off
of a monster.
I know you got off the shift at GameStop, but let's get off the GameStop.
Okay. Let's see. Sort of. This one's sort of an in between. How about? And this is strictly for high school prom nostalgia purposes. Eve 6, Here's to the Night.
Okay, I'll go with you on that.
Let's see. I'll go with that one. I mean, I'm just gonna go with that one.
Okay.
Eve 6, Here's to the Night.
A fast song and a slow song.
Yeah.
Mixed.
Yeah.
Just a mid-tempo.
One-stop shopping now.
Virginia Plain. Great fast dance song. Before Roxy music got bad. That's another good fast dance song.
Hey, the Bryans deliver, dude.
When the Bryans are united, that's good. When the Bryans are separated, Brian with an I is better than Brian with a Y. Fairy, not as good.
Yeah,
Eno,
that's what I was.
The best.
Yeah.
Eno worked with Boyd, didn't it?
Yeah.
And David Byrne.
Yeah. John Hassel.
All the Davids with the bees and all this shit.
Solange, where can people find you on the internet?
my website is searchforsanity.com and at Solange CB.
And you have a play coming up that's coming out.
I have a play, Changes in the Mating Strategies of White People, that's going to open January 17th at the Lounge Theater. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to run for 6 weeks. Craig Anton is directing it. And yeah, it's going to be a really cool play.
Write plays on it, like Shakespeare or something.
My style's not quite like Shakespeare.
It's a little different. But
what words did you create in the making of this play?
Is it an iambic pentameter? That's what I want to know.
No, I can't. If I could do it, I probably would.
So it's didactic hexameter then.
Or just free verse.
I'm trying to think who my inspiration as a playwright would be. Tennessee Williams is
the
the greatest writer of the 20th century.
I did a show in Columbus, Mississippi, which is the hometown of Tennessee Williams. It was very cool. It was exactly...
Oh, you did a Tennessee Williams play?
No, I did a show. Like I did comedy.
He was in the town.
Yeah, I went to the town to do stand up.
He went to the Flying J truck stop and
No, it's a cool little town. It's like it's got the old square and I just saw a guy driving a carriage, a white carriage.
Ooh, does it get a statue of a Confederate veteran in the square?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what every town looks like.
All the towns in the South have that.
But no, I swear, dude.
The one with like the slouch hat.
Yeah, had the little slouch hat. Well, and
it probably wasn't even a real dude. It was like
no, it's generally to the Confederate dead. Yeah,
they would make like it would be the same statue.
Yeah, it's always the same statue. Yeah, and but the whole town square had, I think I counted 3 stores that sold summer formal wear. Like white suits, all they sold was like white and like light pink suits with like little pinstripes and stuff.
Seersuckers,
exactly.
I want to get a seersucker suit really bad.
Well, we'll have to go to Columbus, Mississippi.
Let's do it together.
Also, the hometown of the lead singer of Mother Love Bone. Their lead singer died of a heroin overdose. They got a new lead singer and they renamed themselves Pearl Jam.
Well, no, they renamed themselves Mookie Blaylock and then they became Pearl Jam.
Was this before or after Temple of the Dog?
was before, right?
It was kind of the same time.
Temple the Dog was like going to the zoo and seeing the wild grunge musician in that video. Seriously.
I'm going hungry. I'm going hungry.
I miss the 90s, man.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Put on your red shoes and dance the blues. Dance to the song they're playing on the radio.
The Goods from the Woods is mixed and edited by me, Rivers Langley, and distributed by Westcast Network. Our theme song is composed by DJ Smiles. You can find him online at djsmiles.net.